We have already had some crazy things happen in the first 3 days of this tournament. Let's see how day number 4 holds up in that category. Hello everyone and welcome back. Let's see who will start us off today. Sam Hall from, I believe that is pronounced Durtech, but I could be wrong. Rag and Ricky from Ricky Denning. Thank you, Ricky. Raptor Racing Rex from Raptor Racing. And finally, Wes Cosin from Miniature Car Racing. I know I say this all the time, but it still holds true. Thank you all who have submitted vehicles. They all look incredible. Let's see how they play out on the track as this day of the tournament begins. Sam Hall takes an early lead as Rag and Ricky is pushing him forward. That could help him, but it could also make things harder to catch up to Sam. He was gradually growing that lead as he pulls away. Now that Rag and Ricky was helping him, he now wants to catch up to him, but so far that is proving to be difficult as Sam Hall gets further and further away. He now heads into the final turn before the last stretch. Can he stay straight? He does skid a little bit, but he quickly corrects himself and he finishes in first. Finishing with, I think that is a 14.88. That is not quite the fastest time, which is actually held by Arlo, who got that time in a tiebreaker last video. Some people may or may not count that, but considering it was officially part of the tournament in one way or another, that time will be held up for now. And I believe he finished with a 14.06. He almost went under 14 seconds. So it's entirely possible that someone will beat Arlo's time in the future and break the 14-second mark, but we will see. For now, though, Sam Hall is the one to beat as he finishes in first, followed by Rag and Ricky, Wes Cosin, and then Raptor. Now, just because someone finishes in last does not mean they will stay there. We've seen some incredible comebacks so far. Now, Sam Hall and Rag and Ricky did start out in the back, but look at Sam as he's launching Wes Cosin forward. Going around the turn, it is Wes Cosin out in front. But then Sam Hall finds his way around and takes the lead. They go around the bend, and Sam Hall is getting further and further from the competition, but then he skids sideways, comes to a complete stop, only to be pushed forward again by Wes. And then it was a chain reaction as Rag and Ricky pushed Wes forward as Wes lost his speed. And now Sam has a big lead again, but now he's going backwards. Regardless, though, he does finish in first again. And because of that stop, the time was a lot slower this time around. Now the question is, where is Raptor? It looks like he's not going to finish. He got into the last part of the track, but somehow got stuck there. Let's see if the replay will give us any insight on what happened. It was definitely a risky race for our leaders, but they still managed to pull it off. As for Raptor, it looked like he hit the corner right before the track got bigger, spun himself around and went sideways, causing all his speed to disappear. But now Sam Hall has 2 consecutive wins. A third one will guarantee a spot in today's finals. So now heat number 3 begins. Sam Hall is once again in the back, but also once again he is launching forward, this time pushing Rag and Ricky ahead of him. I guess he's returning the favor for Ricky doing the same for him earlier. And this is a lot closer this time around as they go around that turn, but Sam Hall yet again finds his way around his competition. But his lead is not as big this time. If he's not careful and he skids sideways again, he could lose his streak right now. But that being said, he does stay straight with a decent amount of speed and finishes in first yet again. He is automatically moving on to today's finals. Rag and Ricky finishes in second again. Here comes Wes finishing in third. And Raptor Racing. Is he going to finish this time? It looks like he will, but he does finish in fourth. He does have 2 fourth place finishes and 1 non-finish, so it's not looking good for Raptor Racing. That being said, I do love me a good Velociraptor, so points to them for that. Yes, somehow, Raptor Racing doesn't have as much speed as the other 3. He may just need to have a good position starting out. But we have 1 race left. Sam Hall is already in. But will it be Rag and Ricky or Wes joining him? We'll have to see. This race will decide it. Now Sam Hall, he starts out in the front this time and he's taking full advantage as he takes off. Rag and Ricky is trying to make something happen here. But so far in this tournament, every time Sam Hall grabs the lead, he just does not lose it. Now that could be a jinx, but we will have to see. So far, Sam Hall has left everyone far behind, causing him to have no competition whatsoever as he crosses the finish line for the sweep. That is one of, if not the very first sweep we've had in this tournament so far. And no one has been completely undefeated in a single video yet. So we'll see if Sam can be the first. But everyone does finish again this time. And he finished with a 14.96. Anything below 15 seconds should allow you to rest a little bit more comfortably. But considering some people have almost broken 14 seconds, you definitely want to get some practice in with your speed before the next time you're on the track. But it is Rag and Ricky who's moving on alongside Sam, so let's see who will join them in today's finals. It could be Dusty Miles from Milestone Diecast Racing. It could be T-Ball from Route 66 Diecast Racing. We have Matt McNear from Matt McNear himself, thank you Matt. And Iceman from Polk County Diecast Racing. The creativity on some of these cars is absolutely astounding. And here we go, the race has begun. And right now it is Iceman who has a slight lead, but Dusty Miles is trying to grab it away from him, but he does have the outside lane. Is that going to come into play? If anything, it actually helped him as he launched himself forward like a slingshot. And once he grabbed that lead, he immediately took off like a rocket, and no one is able to catch him right now. He has a huge lead going around that last turn. He has a long vehicle, so getting sideways would be difficult actually. And he gets the first place finish. And we have a new record! Dusty Miles now holds the fastest time of 13.9. I figured somebody would break 14 seconds. I did not expect it to be this quick. But it looks like the long stretched vehicles are having a good time on this track, and Dusty Miles is a perfect example of it. Meanwhile, Iceman finishes in second, so he currently has the better odds of joining Dusty in the finals if things go as they are now. But Dusty Miles is now pushing Iceman forward, T-Ball pushing Matt McNear forward. And the way things are positioned right now, Iceman is actually in the lead, and Dusty Miles is looking for a way around him. He was able, if he's anything like Sam, he will be able to pull this off, but we'll have to see how the race progresses. He is trying to close that gap, but Iceman is trying to do everything he can to block Dusty Miles from passing him, and it works. Iceman manages to grab the second win, so Dusty Miles will not stay undefeated. And they finish with an incredibly fast time of 14.1. That is right in contention with some of the fastest times we've seen so far. So now we're 2 races in. Iceman and Dusty are both tied for second with 8 points apiece. Will the other two be able to come back from this? Or will Iceman and Dusty Miles be going into the finals? Right now, both of them are actually in the back. So Matt McNear does have the slight edge here, but here comes Iceman trying to slip past him. But so far, Matt McNear is having none of that, as he's successfully blocked Iceman from catching him so far. But now all four are staying relatively close together. Matt McNear gets flipped over, and he falls quickly behind as the other three take off towards the finish line. And Iceman takes another win. And Dusty Miles surprisingly finishes in fourth. Yeah, that was a very unfortunate tumble. Something around that turn combined with being pushed around. He flipped over, and Dusty Miles looked like he was trying to be a good sport about it and trying to flip him back over, but was unsuccessful in doing so as he passed by him. That definitely throws a wrench into things, but let's see how much of one. right now with 2 wins, Iceman has 13, Dusty Miles has 10, and T-Ball actually has 7, so he technically could steal Dusty Miles' spot in the finals away from him if he finishes in front of him and does well enough. But right now the fight for first place is between Dusty and Iceman again. Iceman trying to navigate his way around Dusty, but Dusty, using the size of his vehicle to his advantage, keeps that from happening, and he takes a win, redeeming himself. Meanwhile, Iceman takes another second place finish, and Matt McNear somehow winds up on his back again. And almost the same exact spot, no less. But Dusty Miles and Iceman will be moving on. That is very unfortunate for Matt. Hopefully he's okay. We'll have the officials check on him. But here we go in the finals. Dusty Miles now has the fastest time. Let's see if that intimidates the other racers or not. So far, the first race is starting off relatively well, as all 4 are staying relatively close together this time around. But Sam Hall, seeing how Dusty was able to get the fastest time, is now trying to keep that from happening again and is looking for a way around him. But Dusty Miles actually cut him off, causing him to lose some momentum in the process. But he's not having any of that, as Sam Hall's trying to get the gap closed in on, and was unsuccessful, as Dusty Miles takes another win. And because of that, Sam Hall is no longer undefeated, so we will go 4 consecutive videos in this tournament without an undefeated racer. We do have a sweep at least, but that's about it. Now for race number 2. The edge is now in Dusty Miles' favor, but remember, the top 2 will be moving on. So someone else will still have a shot. And now it is Sam and Dusty in the same lane. Dusty, in the position that he's in, is aware that he has to push Sam forward in order to get an edge on the other 2. But now he has to find a way around him. And Sam Hall actually spins around going backwards. All 4 are in a bit of a train here. And Dusty Miles is trying to get around Sam, but Sam is using his tail to block him. And Sam was able to get a win. Wonderful blocking. And that allowed him to finish in first and Dusty Miles in second. Now that is a good strategy, but you don't want to use it too much, otherwise the other racers might catch on. But now we have another 2 racers tied for first with 8 points each. And now for heat number 3, Dusty and Sam are starting in the back. Iceman and Ricky are trying to make something happen by starting out in the front. Will they be able to take advantage of it? They go around the opening turn, and Ricky is currently in the lead, but he is being pushed along by Iceman. Will he be able to navigate his way around Ricky? That has been a challenge for a lot of these racers so far, and it looks like he almost had it. But Raggin' Ricky saw him coming and blocks him with the front of his vehicle. And then he spins around and taunts Iceman by staring at him in the face as he went backwards across the finish line. So those 2 finished a while ago, and the other 2 racers are just now coming in. These are the 2 racers that were leading in points, but it looks like they were having some sort of fight, as they were far behind and constantly in contention with each other as they approached the finish. Look how long it was before we even see them on camera. But you look at this, they're practically having a feud back there as they're going across the finish. But Sam Hall managed to keep his tail in front, allowing him to take third. This could blow the door wide open for the other 2, who were struggling a little bit in the first 2 races. But now here's the final heat of the day. Dusty Miles starts out in the lead, which he may need after that last place finish. And he goes around the turn. All 4 are still staying relatively close together. In fact, Sam is pushing Ricky along to try and allow him, if anybody can, to catch up to Dusty. Ricky is so far not able to close the gap as Dusty approaches the last turn before the finish. Now he's in the stretch beforehand, and he crosses the finish line first, finishing with a 14.6. And here comes Sam in third. The way these finishes happened, I'm not sure who's gonna move on. I believe it's still Dusty and Sam, but we'll have to be sure. This race was a little bit closer than some, but some of these races were a bit dangerous, actually. And it is Dusty, Miles, and Sam moving on. Rag and Ricky was so close, but fell just short. So now we have half our roster. Thank you so much for watching. See you for day number 5.